How many of us have tried that hot new training program and actually seen amazing results? How many of us see significant new growth after the first couple years of training? Not many. Why is that? We only have so much mature, active muscle tissue. And usually a couple few years of consistent training, or near consistent, is enough to feed and plump that tissue up. In other words, hypertrophy, expanding and maxing out the tissue we have. But what about the elusive and mysterious hyperplasia, the maturation of immature satellite cells? Could that be the key to near unlimited muscle growth? How do we activate these cells? IGF-1? If you can find Increlex and know what to do with it, perhaps. But what about the rest of us? Can we all agree that most forms of IGF-1 are not useless, but not exactly the miracle we were looking for? How about GH? Well, for our purposes, some could say it's the sledgehammer approach. We hope for IGF-1 results downstream. Personally, I've never been a great responder to growth hormone as far as actual muscle growth is concerned, whether in the short or the long term. Water retention, sure. Actual new muscle, hard to say. And that's not something I want to think about when it comes to a drug that costs hundreds of dollars a month. What if I told you there was something that would activate your stem cells, including muscle satellite cells, and it was completely free? You might get excited. When I tell you it's fasting, you might get disappointed. But before you click off, know that you don't actually have to stop eating to fast. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's take a look real quick at how HGH works in theory. You take a reasonable dosage, along with a cycle or TRT, say 2 to 6 IU a day. You do this for 6 months, and over that time, the downstream IGF-1 stimulation awakens satellite cells, and you technically now have new muscle. But this new muscle is immature, baby muscle. Now we need hypertrophy, anabolism, to mature and expand this new muscle. So in maybe 10 months, a year, you can see whether you were getting real GH or not. In a sense, fasting works in a similar way. During the calorie-restricted phase, immature stem cells are stimulated, awakened into duty as your body is literally eating itself. For the first time, perhaps, in your whole life, you don't have significant calories to rely on for daily activities. Your body senses this and reacts to this stress by enlisting new recruits as the old, dead zombie cells are cleaned out of your liver, etc. This is called autophagy, to eat thyself. It's a necessary stimulus, just as damaging muscle by lifting heavy weights is. This process is well and truly underway on day 5 of the fast, when your body ups growth hormone output by 5 times normal. Personally, this is why I like to fast for at least 6 to 7 days. Then, when I go back into normal eating, I'm primed to grow with excellent increased insulin sensitivity, and grow I do. This last go around, I went from a refed weight, i.e. recovered several days after the fast with carbs and water, of 206 pounds to over 220 pounds during the course of 6 weeks. And this was done without a real steroid cycle or GH. I'm on TRT, and I'm no purist, but I haven't done a legit cycle, i.e. in my mind something totaling 500 milligrams a week or more for 6 weeks or more. I haven't done that type of thing in many years. And during this last growth phase, I put a 1/2 inch on my arms, 1.25 inches on my thighs, and, to be honest, my fair share of fat, but nothing crazy. Take away the extra water from bulking, and there's probably about 12 pounds to speak of. In honesty, I'd wager that was around 50-50 fat and muscle distribution. But at my age and after training for over 2 decades, I'll take it. Plus, I'm just about to fast again for 7 days, with a keto lead-in, where I'll legitimately lose all of that fat. I have stretch marks on my biceps that are new. This makes me smile. Oh, and why am I so confident that I'll lose all that fat? Because this will be my 20th such fast. At this point, this is my 2-month or 8-week routine. 6 weeks of gaining, followed by 2 weeks of peeling off the extra and resetting. Is the new muscle I'm gaining actually new muscle, or is it just plumped up fibers I already had, i.e. is it hyperplasia or is it hypertrophy? Well, My starting weight at 22 years old many years ago was 142 pounds at 6'1.5". I've worked hard for the gains I've made, and having been on TRT for 5 years, I know that I can typically maintain a bit less muscle than this. That's all I can say. Completely subjective. But you know what? I'll take it. Fasting is super difficult, right? I'm scared. Well, it's not easy, but I'm about the least disciplined person I know, and I handle it just fine. Mostly because I cheat my ass off. One, I do 5 days of fairly strict keto while training high volume at the gym to kick things off. Why? Because if you're fasting, sooner or later you'll be in ketosis. But not until all the glycogen is depleted from your muscles, liver, etc. Depleting glycogen and getting into hard ketosis before fasting is akin to jumping off the low diving board versus the tall-ass Olympic high dive one. Either way, we're getting in the pool. I just like things to be easy. When actually fasting, I still eat plenty of empty non-caloric foods. Yes, that's basically bro science, but there's a thought among extended fasters that any meal under 50 total calories is fasting safe. In other words, it won't kick you out of the fasted state. I keep it to 40 or less 99% of the time. What kind of meal or snack can you eat for 30 to 50 calories? Let me take you through a day of dirty fasting. I wake up and I immediately brew black coffee. I add 1 teaspoon of cocoa, 3 calories, and 2 teaspoons of stevia blend. All in, 7 calories. I'll have 2 to 3 cups over the next 3 hours while I work at the computer. Lunch might be a garden salad type of lettuce blend with calorie-free ranch dressing, Walden Farms, and mushrooms. Not bad, about 35 calories. A whole box of sugar-free Jell-O, 4 servings in 1 sitting. Dill pickles, cauliflower, air-fried mushrooms with broccoli, seasoned. Shirataki miracle noodles with half a teaspoon of beef bouillon. There's more, but that's off the top of my head. All told, I typically take in 150 to 200 calories for a whole day's worth of dirty fasting. Since my daily caloric needs, even when inactive, are around 2,800 calories, I'm burning about 2,600 calories worth of ketones, i.e. fat, per day. Approximately 3/4 of a pound of pure fat burned per day. Not water, not carbs, that's already gone. I take in plenty of sweetened water with electrolytes and take a multivitamin. Almost everything I eat during the fast is fiber, so I get cleaned out. Over the course of 7 days, I lose 5.25 pounds of actual fat, not to mention the week of prep and hard training that precedes the fast. So, typically it's a total of 6 pounds fat loss over a 12-day period. And when I end the fast, I do so slowly. Avoid heavy fats. Go easy. Get some protein and carbs in, and a little fat. It takes a minute for your body to produce enough bile again to digest fats. Ease in over the course of a couple days. Of course, you do you. Check with your doctor, obviously. I'm just some dude on YouTube telling my personal experience, but I hope that what I've laid out here gives you a few ideas that maybe you can implement in your own diet and training program.